Hey guys, welcome to the Ace of Pentacles series in my YouTube membership. I am so excited to get started on this series with you. We will be doing this through these summer months. So June, the rest of June, July, and August, we will be focusing on the Ace of Pentacles. And in today's video, I just wanted to share with you the overview of what we'll be going through, as well as sort of introducing you to the Pentacle energy, specifically the Ace of Pentacles, and evoking that in our reality. Now, if you've been following me along in the membership with the Ace of Wands series, we're really moving right off the tail of that. So the third spell in the Ace of Wands series was all about invoking the spirit of our yes in our reality, allowing that spirit to be alive within us, the spirit of our yes, our creative yes, the spirit of heaven on earth. Because remember, we have to build heaven on earth. We have to create it. It's built through our creative desires. And those creative desires are a culmination of everything that has come before us and that we've experienced in this life as well. So our personal desires really matter here. Now, as we move into the Ace of Pentacles, we're really working with containment of that desire, because fire that's not contained can get out of control. So the earth element around the fire is essential. The containment of the fire is essential to keep us safe. So the Ace of Pentacles is really about creating new beginnings. Aces are all about new beginnings. But this is really a beginning for our future, really investing that yes into the physical world, into our actual 3D earth reality, and watching that fire expand and expand and expand as our containment of it expands as well. So I have a notebook and I have my phone, which both have notes in it, and I'll be looking through. But I wanted to, first of all, just give some brief information about the Ace of Pentacles specifically. And now remember, this is not a tarot class. I'm not teaching tarot. I'm just using tarot symbolically for the work that we're doing, because tarot is such an accurate representation of the human journey. So first of all, aces represent new beginnings. The Ace of Pentacles in general is an opportunity for further attainment, to receive a gift or an opportunity in your life. It's to build our future, a more strong, stable foundation for our future. It's also really, you can think of the ace itself as the cornerstone, or the initiatory, the initial investment in heaven on earth. Now, remember, the pentacle energy is meant to grow. We don't give it away. We don't just spend it. We invest it. We invest it and we multiply it. And if you followed along in my Spell of Astronomical Abundance series, I talked a lot about how gold itself, or life force itself, it comes from the heart, and how this is where our true money source comes from. This is where our creative energy comes from, our creative desires. And that above all else, we have to take care of the heart, watch over the heart, because it's the wellspring of life. And we have to, if we're going to use the heart, which we're using it every day, we need to allow ourselves to be in wise counsel in the decisions that we make from the heart, that we take advice from people who are wise in the dealing of the human heart. I've also been talking about how we have an extinction program going on this planet right now. And there's very much this energy of hatred of humanity. And it's been on the planet for quite a while, but it's revving up right now. And if you pay attention to the rhetoric around a lot of what's going on in the world, there's a lot of negativity towards our humanity, and a really deep understanding of what our humanity is, because it's our gold. And I truly believe we can't be at war with our humanity and hate our humanity and expect to prosper. It's just not going to happen. And so it's important that we, first of all, value ourselves. So we are the pentacle, we are the gold. And if we see ourselves as this ace, this pentacle energy, the body itself, the physical vessel itself, and how we move with energy, how we interact with energy, how we conduct energy, how we transmute energy, is going to be it's going to determine how the pentacle energy plays out in our lives, whether we feel like we are always in debt, or we have no containment, or we have no stability, or whether we feel like we're stable. And by the way, the Spell of Astronomical Abundance course and the Ace of Wands this all kind of goes together. So if you didn't take the Spell of Astronomical Abundance class. It's like a $55 class. I did a mini sort of beta version of it. I will have it available soon. So I'll leave a link. You can join the wait list for when it is available if you want to get that, because it really goes hand in hand with all of this information. I highly recommend it. So, I want you to think of the Ace of Pentacles as kind of like the cornerstone to heaven on earth. It's that first pentacle, that first initiatory pentacle that we choose. Like, what are we going to do with this? How are we going to invest this? Now, remember, we are the pentacle. Ultimately, our heart energy is the pentacle. So how do we invest it? And how do we allow the energy of the earth to provide containment for our fire, for our creative energy? I also wanted to, just a little bit of background. I've talked about this in, I don't know, some other places. I don't know if I said this on my podcast or in one of the membership videos. I'm not sure, but I've been talking a lot about grid holders and grid workers and making the distinction between the two. So in my mind, grid holders is the principalities and the energies that hold together a certain grid. Now, when we're talking about heaven on earth, because that's what this is all about, is investing in heaven on earth, investing in our thriving, investing in the reconciliation of humans to their power, to their creative power, and to their creative source. So grid holders are the energies that hold that together, most of which are spiritual, I believe. There are people who spiritually, energetically conduct that energy, transmit it on the planet, and that hold strong places of power and authority on this planet in those grids. But mostly I see this energy as spiritual, first and foremost. So how I think of grid holders are cornerstone energy. Number one, the cornerstone of heaven on earth, which I believe ultimately is forgiveness and reconciliation. It's the cornerstone of all that we are, because we have to forgive ourselves. We have to forgive the debt that we believe humanity is in. Otherwise, we will just continue to destroy ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves for our past. We have to forgive. It's just we cannot receive our inheritance. We won't receive our inheritance if we don't first forgive. And that forgiveness begins with ourselves. So it's really the cornerstone, the forgiveness and the reconciliation of our humanity, the acceptance and the embracing of our humanity, of all of it, of our vulnerabilities, and then the understanding, again, of how it works, and being wise in the counsel of the human heart, because that's the investment. So we have to be wise in understanding how the human heart works and respect humanity. So I would say the cornerstone of heaven on earth is that respect for our humanity and the reconciliation of our humanity. So number one. Then second, we have principalities, and principalities are the spiritual entities that we create through our beliefs. So the more that we believe in something, the more that we give action to it, the more that we speak to it, the more that we focus on it, the more of a spiritual substance it has. So again, if we want to create heaven on earth, we have to speak about it, we have to act on it, and we have to focus on it. We have to allow it to consume us. And we talked about this a little bit in the Ace of Wands, about really creating ritual around it, and around our fire, around our creative energy, around our beliefs, like taking action and speaking upon and focusing upon the things that we want to make manifest on this planet. And that's where faith comes in. So principalities are the energies that hold that together. We make them more powerful the more we believe in them. And specifically principalities, think of principles, like they're key core principles that hold up the structure of heaven on earth. So respect for humanity is one of them. Forgiveness is one of them. Abundance is one of them. The fact that we're eternal is one of them. The fact that there's enough is one of them. The fact that all creation works in threes, you, me, the planet, past, present, future, body, mind, heart. These are all principalities of the abundance matrix, the principalities of heaven on earth. And then we have powers. And I really see powers specifically that play out on this earth as elemental power. So these are the powers of plants and trees and nature, and the spirits of these things very much are part of the energy that holds together a reality. And in every reality we have these. So heaven on earth has its own cornerstone, its own principalities, and its own power. The lack matrix, hell on earth, essentially, where we're never enough, where we go through this endless debt cycle, is also has its own cornerstone beliefs, its own principalities, and its own powers. So its own elementals that serve it, everything. So the key is being very discerning about what spirits we're interacting with. That's absolute key. It's part of, above all else, guarding the heart, because at all times humans are interacting with spirit. This whole thing is ultimately spiritual and created in spirit. So we have to have discernment. And that's why being able to discern who and what the principalities of heaven on earth are is essential. And allowing ourselves to commune with those grid holders, the cornerstone, the principalities, and the powers on this planet that are connected to there's enough, I'm enough, you're enough, that are connected to respect for humanity, the respect of the human heart. It doesn't mean we have to respect what humans have done. It doesn't mean we respect the things that we don't agree with. It's respecting the overall function of humanity, the overall technology of what the human is and what it's capable of. Because without understanding what we are and what we're capable of, we'll never utilize our power to the fullest extent, and we won't manifest heaven on earth. So these are really important to understand. And then there's the grid holders, and then on the human level, I believe there's grid workers, which ultimately all humans are. But the ones that I believe that are like literally here doing grid work are the alchemists, the artists and entrepreneurs and mystics, and the healers. So these are people on this planet who through their creative urge are alchemicalizing the trauma on the planet, who are creating something new through art, who are prophesizing things, who are bringing things like ancient hidden knowledge back to our awareness, and that are also healing people. That we are part of literally manifestations of heaven on earth. And the work we do here is part of that transmutation. And it's really important, especially as we're talking about earth energy here. We're talking about pentacle energy, which is the earth energy. We're talking about manifesting on earth. Now, in the tarot, in the suits of tarot, pentacle energy or earth energy is the slowest moving suits in the deck. It moves very slowly, but it's also the most long lasting, the most prosperous. So as we're working with pentacle energy, it requires a lot of patience, because it's not as fast as fire or even our mental energy. It's very much grounded in the earth and grounded in our physical vessels. It's becoming more human. It's providing more containment. And this can be difficult a lot of times for spiritual people or people who are very empathic, or even grid workers in general, alchemists, artists, entrepreneurs, healers, mystics. Oftentimes they struggle holding down pentacle energy and keeping it within their reality, just simply because there's been this really deep program that there's something flawed or evil about physicality, about earth itself, that the earth plane has been demonized in some way. And so we keep ourselves sort of apart from it, and it's considered materialistic a lot of times. And we have these hyperbolic spiritual principles around earth energy that really are nonsensical when we consider the fact that we are here to create heaven on earth. So this is really important when we are considering working with earth energy, that this is slow moving energy, and we're talking long term. And this is important also when you think about the world right now. Everything's heating up, it's coming to a boiling point. The energy is very much choose this or that, take action now, or all these bad things are going to happen. And that's how the lack matrix works. It's how duality works. It makes us believe we don't have any other choice other than the two options it puts in front of us. So we always sacrifice something. And once we choose this or that, we go into another cycle of debt and sacrifice, because we're sacrificing a vital aspect. We're ultimately sacrificing the third option. There's always a third option, and there's in fact an infinite amount of options. But as we're working with this pentacle energy, we are truly investing in our humanity. We're investing in our earth energy. We're investing in being more present, more physical, more abundant, more prosperous, because we cannot build heaven on earth if we are in debt or in poverty on this planet. So I want to just go through kind of what the three, just like with the Ace of Wands, we have 3 spells that we're doing. The first spell I will be releasing this week. So this video, by the way, I'm going to make public on my channel for probably a few days at least. So people know what, if they want to join the YouTube membership, they know kind of what we're doing here. But I will also be posting another video this week with the first spell, with the details of it. So you're technically getting 2 videos this week, but one of them will be public for just for a few days. So just FYI, but we're doing 3 spells. And the first spell is containment. This is all about using the earth energy to contain that fire, specifically that fire that we evoked in spell 3 of the Ace of Wands, evoking our yes in our physical world. Now we are using our first spell of this series is going to be about providing containment for that fire. Containment is essential. It is absolutely essential. And each and every one of us individually have our own needs for containment. And it's important that we know that. What do I personally need to contain my fire? What kind of boundaries do I need? And there's lots of visualizations that you can do to work with this. I'll be releasing one in the YouTube membership as well, a meditation that can help you really bring in that earth energy and create the containment that you need for your fire. But that's what spell 1 will be all about. Spell 2 is about stabilizing. So spell 1 is containment. Spell 2 is stabilization, stabilizing the pentacle energy in our reality, having a very firm foundation, and being able to build everything else upon that foundation. And this is when we'll dive a little bit deeper into the grid holders, the spiritual energy behind building heaven on earth, because we are interacting with spirits all the time. And I believe there is a huge misunderstanding, and because of religion and all the fear around it, and because of like the split between religion and like spirituality and new age and religion, because they go together, they go hand in hand, they are one of the same. But because they've been split, there's been a really, I think, detrimental breakdown of our spiritual understanding, especially if you've been raised, well, both, whether you've been really far in the new agey side or really far in the religion side, both of them are missing the ingredients that the other has. And it's only together that they really make sense. And so one thing for me growing up in religion that I feel like I never really learned at all is spiritual gifts and how they work, and how everything's spiritual, and how we're interacting with spirit all the time, and to test the spirits and learn discernment. I know some churches teach discernment, but in my personal experience, that was like a tiny bit. It's usually churches seem to focus on the beginners and the new believers. And so the same message gets preached over and over and over and over, but there's not really any meat. At least, again, my experience. I know there's lots of other people who have tons of meat in their religious experience. It just wasn't mine at all. And then the new agey world, I feel, again, personally, my experience, and everyone is different, is that it tends to be very ungrounded, and you can open yourself up to things that are not good for you. And there can be a lack of discernment there as well. And yet it has truth and a lot of esoteric knowledge and truth that religion has hidden. So again, they go hand in hand. And I truly don't think we can be masters on this planet without both. Jesus was a master, Buddha was a master, all these spiritual teachers, they understood both. And there were sects at the time that these underground mystery schools that taught these things, that taught the mysteries, and understood that they go hand in hand. So I know there's people who may completely disagree with that, and that's okay, but I recommend doing a deep dive into esoteric teachings and the mysteries, and you can see how correlated religion and esoteric is, how they're ultimately connected. So I say all that because I truly believe there's a really deep lack of integration and understanding when it comes to the spiritual principalities of the world and of the worlds. So the lack matrix versus the abundance matrix. And we have to become very discerning here. So that was my really long way to say that Spell 2 is all about stabilizing ourselves on a firm foundation, knowing clearly what principalities we're interacting with, just like we did in Ace of Wands, knowing clearly what our no is. When we spiritually understand the energy of the lack matrix and we know it so well, it's much easier to say no to it. It's much easier to not let it consume us or to fall for the tricks of the lack matrix versus just not knowing and having it all sort of meshed together. And the system of the systems, the global systems on this planet, very much have infiltrated spirituality and religion as well. So a lot of times we think we're serving religion, but we're actually just serving the principalities of this planet, of the lack matrix, and we just don't even realize it because we get confused of power. Oh, if it's power, if it's powerful, it must be God. But there are different sorts of powers on this planet that have different agendas and different effects. And so we have to be very discerning about what it is that we are interacting with and communing with. So we'll go deep into that in the stabilization spell. And then finally, spell 3, which we'll get into in August, is all about expansion. So containment, stabilization, and expansion. That is what the Ace of Pentacles is all about. And my YouTube membership is still shifting a lot. I know I keep saying that, but I just have so much going on in my life, and it's just taken way longer than I expected to just have this moving in exactly how I want it to go. But as of right now, as of the rest of this summer, I'm just going to keep the levels the same as they are. And then as we move into the fall, so September, October, November, we'll be moving into a new series, and I will be changing my YouTube membership a little bit. So I'll have a higher membership, this mid-grade membership that you're in, and then the first level. And I'll give you more details about that later. But just so you know, I've said it before, for those of you who've been in the membership for a while, I thought it was going to change earlier than it is, but we're just going to wait till summer is over for a lot of these things to be fully stabilized. So that's, I think, all I have for this video today. I just wanted to let you guys, my rooster has a lot to say. I just wanted to let you guys know that this is what we're diving into. And if you are watching this on my public channel, I would love to have you in the membership. This Ace of Pentacles series is available in the Craft of the Empath tier. So I have 2 tiers. One is called Empath Content or something like that. And it's just basically all of my archived content. When I go live, after a few days, I put all the lives and my archived content. And a lot of the stuff that I post that I end up archiving, it's all in my first tier. So if you want access to just like a lot of my old content and a lot of the newerish content from the lives, that's all there. And then this Craft of the Empath tier is where I do these kind of beta test series, these different series, and particularly we're going through all the aces. So super excited about that. If you want to join, just when you go into the description box, there's a link to join. Just make sure you, if you want to be in the Ace of Pentacles, that you click the Craft of the Empath tier. You can cancel at any time. So, and also when you sign up, you get access to everything I've ever posted in the YouTube membership, which is like 2 years now at this point. So there is a ton of content for you there. It's really astronomical for the price. So if you like my stuff and you like my content and you just want to deep dive, especially for the summer, if you have time to just dive into content, there's a lot of content there. So I would love to have you. I hope you guys are doing well. And please, if you resonate with this, I would love to hear in the comment section just anything specifically that stood out to you, any questions that you have about the Ace of Pentacles in particular. I don't know, just anything that sparked as you were watching this. I would love to hear it because it really helps deepen the conversation for me. And I just love hearing from you guys. So I hope you are well. Please, if you're in the membership, expect another video on Thursday. It will be our first spell. And yeah, I can't wait to connect. Bye, guys.